found a little bit of a complaint about the baler. This Deffer? Yeah, it's too small to be the other one. Hey kiddo, she's such a nice cow. Hey, welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. This is Chris. Alright, it is Monday afternoon, and I'm gonna blame Canada. I'm blaming Canada for my sore throat. With all the smoke and stuff that was in the area, I don't know, it just got to my throat. It's all scratchy and stuff, so hopefully that clears up in the next day or so. Today is not nearly as bad. We can actually make out the hill and some of the ski runs, so it's definitely not nearly as bad. Monday afternoon, we are going to start out. We're gonna grab a load of bales. I think we're gonna go up on the hill, so we grab the 2940. I will not come down that hill with the 2030 and a full load. We step up to the 29 for that job. That way we just got a little bit more weight in front of that load. Definitely another reason to have another cab tractor for doing jobs like that. That is pretty steep hill. We are back with load number one. There's definitely a little more weight there, but coming down the hill wasn't too bad. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna let the steers into the BDA, but I mean the whole BDA. So I'm gonna go open that gate, just double check the fence and stuff like that. I got the tester, I'm gonna check it in there, but there's like knee-high grass in there. A lot of it's more of like a weed type grass, so it's not like it's stellar quality, but I mean, for these guys, they gotta serve a purpose somehow. So helping to keep these areas clean, and you know, I'll let them in the back there. They're gonna trim around all the edges and all that stuff, and then when you test it and you realize that there's no juice on it, because the gates we let the cows go across the road are open, and that prevents the juice from continuing on down the line. All right, at the end of the line, it's only like 3,000, but still not horrible. That is the bare minimum. There is a lot of grass on the line in the yard here, so this is part of the reason they're coming in. And whatever they leave, then I'll have to get with the grass trimmer. Yep, they just found the fence there. Alright, we'll let them chill out, which I'm sure they will. But it looked like, well, one, they caught the fence over here, which this fence over here is actually a little bit buried. Alrighty, Tuesday afternoon, and thankfully it looks like the rain is holding off long enough that we're gonna be able to get this 7-8 acre field baled. Dad is working on right now, so I'm gonna jump on the four-wheeler and buzz over there and check it out. And Dad got started way before we talked about he was gonna start. I thought he would start about 3 o'clock. He must have started about 2 o'clock. So, because he's coming down the road, coming back. So let's go down to the shop and we'll meet him down there. So we still got this project. We have found a gearbox that we think will work for this for about $250. Mostly because, you know, we could salvage that shaft. We could probably salvage the spline shaft that goes this way, but that gear and that gear alone are like, I think I found one gear for like $50. I actually haven't been able to find the other one, other than one site that has it for $250, and it's the same site that has the other one for like, I don't know, $280 or something like that. All right, Dad's gonna drop that back off at the shop. I'm gonna meet him down there. So yeah, he got started at like 2 o'clock. Got another, is it like 16, 18 bales, something like that. I do think we gotta be putting like another 100 pounds into these bales, because they do seem quite a bit heavier. Dad did say he upped the bale wraps to 3.5. We were at 3. He said he just likes the look of them better. And the cows are up. Not complaining too much. All right, so what we want to do is we want to raise these up a little bit if possible, to let the head down just a fraz. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, where did we leave you guys off with? Basically, when we got to the baler. No, sorry, I didn't show you guys a whole heck of a lot. So we'll go over everything that we did. And I found a little bit of a complaint about the baler. Now, nothing that we honestly would have found right out of the gate when we looked at it, purchased it, kind of thing, but it's something that we're gonna have to investigate and hopefully try to work through. So we did get the pickup, the wheels for the pickup. We set those guys. So the tines, yeah, they're not in a good spot, but the tines are about 1 inch to 3/4 off the ground. About 1 inch, give or take. And then we went after the net wrap tension, and it is actually a little bit better than we thought. So Dad had put this eye bolt on here, and he actually made the hole just a little bit bigger. This is a 1/2 inch eye bolt, but we potentially will have to replace this in the next year or two, because we went to go, you know, part of the whole checking your net wrap tension is you got to check your duck bill return springs, which is this one, and then there's one on the other side. So you engage this, and then you measure from here to here, and you're supposed to be in about 17.5 inches. I think we're bottomed out for thread. We might have a little bit more. We're right at about 17. So a little bit short. And then this guy over here is like right on the money. So then after that, you're supposed to check your brake, which we already had the brake set from, what was it, last weekend or something like that. We set the brake. Then we check the tension, and essentially what you do is you engage the duck bill. So you lower this guy all the way down with the monitor. This gap here, the duck bill will show up right in that gap. It's pretty freaking sweet. Since it's engaged, you pull a bunch through enough that, you know, it's probably sticking through, you know, I don't know, 3-4 feet. Tie a knot on it. Then you disengage or retract the duck bill and move it back into this position. And then after that, you throw on the scale. And this is just the scale that we use for, we used to use for weighing calves. or now calibrating my scale. But you just hook one side in your net wrap, grab onto the other side, and you pull, and you want to be at about 95 pounds. You just slowly pull back on it, and you watch your scale, and when the net moves, where that's at is your reading. And it would hit 95 and move. So it was like perfect. And they said if you had to adjust it any further, then you can adjust right here, which is I think your brake tension, right? Yeah, that's part of your brake tension. That's actually not set to what they said is like the factory setting, but I'm not going to touch it since it is set perfect as far as tension goes. So that is nice. So we'll have to see what happens with that, how that performs with the net wrap. But now for the complaint. I noticed this the other day and I cleaned it out. But now I noticed it again, and Dad only did like 16, 18 bales. Is right in here, there's hay just jammed in there. And I mean like tight. And if you run it, it doesn't roll. It's caught in there. Well, I think what's happening is stuff is getting up in there, or as it's going around, it's getting jammed in that side. But what we're thinking is, what about making something like this? Now, essentially, it would just be a cup that would sit like right over the top of this. Hopefully, you'd be able to protect that edge. I think I'm just going to button up the hatches here, and we're going to call it a day. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hey, how's it going? All right, it is a wet Wednesday, and it still is raining. I think it's actually lightening up a little bit. So hopefully this is pushing through. It's supposed to be quite a bit of rain to the south of us. Been doing a lot of looking on stuff to do with this guy with that roller and the stuff jamming in the corner. It is kind of weird. You know, I've watched a couple of videos just trying to catch like when people are going through them, whether it's like dealers like presenting, you know, the new, like dealers presenting the new model, and found a couple videos from even 18 when they were going over this baler. So it wasn't the 40th anniversary version, which I think was the first year for this style of baler, for the RB450s. I'm pretty sure, and that was like 16. That starter roll, there's different versions of the starter roll. We've always had a starter roll that's had bars going across it. Our 630 New Holland, our RBX450 had it. This one has the smooth, but even on the schematics and stuff that I see, there's this little guard. It looks basically like half-inch wide by quarter-inch thick bar that goes over it and just covers that lip. But then when you see a baler like ours that has the smooth starter roll, it doesn't have that. So I don't know if possibly there's just enough wear on the end of that roll, but now it can allow stuff to catch. Where if everything was brand new, the gap is so small and they want that smooth roll that they think they didn't need that guard. So we're kind of leaning in the direction of just getting either some bar stock tube that's just a little bit bigger and then form it from there. So that's kind of the route we're thinking of going, is putting that little thing on so it just covers the end of that roll by like a quarter inch. Hey, how's it going? All right, it is Thursday afternoon and it is absolutely gorgeous out here. All right, so on the dock for today, Dad is currently up on the hill and he is cutting. I think he went up around 1:30 or something, so I'm sure he's going to spend a couple hours up there. We're going to give the steers probably this long pen where the bull usually is. The grass usually gets pretty tall in there. I'm not really sure what kind of grass it is. It actually looks like foxtail. I'm not really sure what it is. I don't even know how it gets in there either. So we'll give them that. Then the cows are they're going to start the rotation over. All right, so we got this about split in half. I don't know how I got this little bow thing going, but that's all right. Not the worst in the world. All right, that went really well. Sorry you guys fell down, but them's the brakes. So this actually officially starts our rotation over, because this is always their first chunk. This Duffer, yeah, it's too small to be the other one. Hey kiddo, she's such a nice cow. Then we got a mother-daughter duo here, because we got Barb on the right, who again is looking pretty nice. Not having a calf though, but getting there. And then we got Magnolia on the left here. Fingers crossed that she is bred. She's the one that we, her and 10, we used those blood pregnancy tests that I did the video of a couple, is it 2 or 3 videos back? And we got Tilts here. He's doing all right. I think he must have got some kind of inner ear infection or something. It just kind of messed up his stuff a little bit, but he gets around, he eats, he's putting good weight on, so not too worried about him. There's a little bit of fly pressure, but it's not too shabby. This is factor daughter out of our first bold ruler daughter. So she was an absolute pune, super small. Like, well, I guess, why guess? I can just tell you what the actual answer is. Yeah, she's like 67 pounds. So doing pretty nice. She's good and thick. I mean, she ain't a monster, but it is nice getting to see these calves up close though. Yeah, and there's Deja's heifer, nice and long. Holy criminy. And here's our True Justice out of that DF431. She has really come on. And this Sox here, he, you know, for being straight out of the 80s, I mean, like what, second or third to last calf? Dude's pretty darn awesome. All right, I think I got a few pictures. I think we've bothered them enough. So, yeah, this is nice. Hey, how's it going? Happy Friday. All right, we are down at the shop, and basically what Dad and I are gonna do is kind of look at our actual, starting to design our actual like little guard. Dad got some rings of steel. They're a little bit bigger ID than what we wanted, but we think we possibly can, as we form it, kind of start to form it, because it's going to get cut in half and all that stuff. So all right, so what Dad had gotten at a local shop, local steel place, some rings. So basically they had some tube. This is actual tube because you got the weld seam in there. He reminds me of that all the time. You know, you can say pipe, but it's technically tube. And then what we did is we cut it in half. And the way I was going to use the cut 50, but just shorts and a t-shirt and my Under Armour mesh top shoes are not a good combination for using a plasma cutter. There was not an angle that I could comfortably cut. So I just used my little Milwaukee Sawzall, which this guy is really awesome. I love that thing. We did those, and then what we did is we needed to form that C shape, because we know the ID of this tube was like 7 inches, and from our rough measurement, we literally used a C-clamp as a calipers and stuck it under there and closed it and measured that. It's about 6 5/8, but I'm going to try and look that up Usually they'll give you the diameter in millimeters of those, just as a double check. So we wanted to form that down because we know we're not going to use all of it. Probably like 2 inches off the back end. As we form it, you know, we're going to come around, and then this is actually going to come straight, and then somewhere here is just going to get cut off. So we don't need that whole C shape. We formed it, and we used a 6-inch OD coffee can. So that might be kind of dumb, but that was the closest thing we had. But now all we have to do, if we wanted to, we can heat it up a little bit, put it on the anvil over there, pound on it, and open it up just a little bit. But we do want to get that fit in there and get it to be like these guys. And actually, one thing Dad noticed is that you can see, like, right in here, like, this is almost like 3/8 of an inch thick, this guard, but right in here where the bale rolls a lot, you're down to like a 1/16 of an inch. So we're actually going to look at putting some weld. Dad's going to put some weld on here just to build that back up. I mean, it's a used baler. So yeah. And that way it'll extend the life of that, because you start getting it to be razor thin. And then you're going to start having stuff cut there and get built up there. And all right. So yeah, I think we're going to stick them in there. So yeah, that should make them happy for quite a while. At least the next day or so. And then we'll put them in the back. All right, so it is Friday. It is the end of the day. I got stuff I gotta do tonight. But it's been a pretty decent week. We've gotten some hay cut. We're gonna get some more cut. We're gonna get some more baled this weekend. I'm sure Sunday will probably be a baling day. So that'll be nice. We gotta just keep chipping away. Keep chipping away. And then hopefully before we bale, we get our little modification done and get to try that out, and hopefully that's not a complete total fail. Hope you guys liked the video. Please hit that thumbs up button, help support the channel. Of course, if you got any questions, please leave them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Help us get to our goal of 2,000 subs and beyond. And don't forget to subscribe. Help us get to our goal of 2,000 subs and beyond. Definitely helps support the channel and what we do here at Ohrmundt Simmentals. And as always, thanks for coming along.